One time a doctor had me go in for a blood culture. And blood culture, if you don't know what it is, there's big bottles, and there's a little bit of fluid in the bottom. They put a little blood in. By the time they're done, it looks like a huge, huge bottle full of blood. It's really nasty looking. Well, I got all these done. I have like 4 or 5 of them sitting next to me. And this gentleman comes in for his blood draw, and he looks at me, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, oh, great. And then he sees the bottles, and he's like, oh my God, oh my God. And he was like wobbling. They're sitting him down. They're trying to calm him down. And this wimp passed out. He passed out before they could even get the tourniquet on his arm. What a wimp. My God. I mean, I put all that blood in all those bottles, and you're passing out without the needle. I don't know what. I have a lot of fun when I go to the doctor's office, though. I have a lot of fun, like, screwing with people's minds. One time I went into the doctor's office, and there was this really snotty physician assistant. He was like early 20s, Filipino guy, very rude, very intrusive, and he asks me about the HIV. He's like, how did you get it? I got it from a whore in Manila! Took care of him. He was gone. But how do I deal with this stuff? Well, I go to support groups, and I've met a lot of really cool people at support groups. I have a lot of really good dead friends at support groups. One of them, his name's Harvey, and Harvey was really kind of like a really crazy guy, kind of like the poster boy for Jack Daniels, sort of. Maybe he was Jack Daniels. He drank enough of it. Well, unfortunately, Harvey got cancer and had to go have a colostomy, and I went to visit him at the hospital, and I walk into the room, and he's like, hey, come here, you want to see my shit bag? And I'm like, what? He just pulls up his gown, he has this nasty colostomy bag hanging off him, and he goes, yeah, I just go shit right in here, and I don't have to use toilet paper. And underneath, if you rip the bag off, it looks like a pussy. And I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, 2 years earlier, he'd had a circumcision. He was going around flashing people with that, too. That was crazy, crazy. And I had another friend that I met through this support group, Scott Craig. Scott Craig was a Mouseketeer in the New Mickey Mouse Club in the 70s. Well, first time I met him, he was after this group, and I'm walking out, and he just grabs me and starts talking to me, and blah, 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 tells me his whole life story. Oh, Mickey Mouse Club, a bionic woman, I was doing this, I was doing that, and at age 15, I was washed up and a drug addict, and just screwed up my life, blah, blah, and I'm thinking, who is this nutcase, and will he ever shut up? Well, he finally did, and we became very good friends. But at one point, Scott got ill, and I went to see him at his house, and his partner, Rick, and his mother are standing there, and as I'm going in, they're saying, don't give him any cigarettes. Don't give him any cigarettes. He'll beg, he'll plead, he'll whine, he'll do anything. Don't give him a cigarette, or we'll castrate you. Well, okay, pretty serious. So I go in, Scott's laying in the bed, and first thing, he says, you got a cigarette? No, Scott, I don't have a cigarette for you. Oh, please, you can give me a no, they're going to castrate me. No, you could just leave it over there, and I'll get it later. And I go, Scott, no. And the poor guy felt so bad, but a few months later, I didn't hear from him for a long time. A few months later, I get this phone call, and he's like, oh, well, I was in ICU, and I was in a coma, and I was in the hospital for 3 months. Would you like to come over and have smoothies? Okay, and I'm like, sure, and I get over there, and of course he's still recovering from the coma and walking with a walker, and he couldn't really use his hands very well or his fingers, and then he's like, first thing he's asking, can I have a cigarette? So I was like, okay, and then he's like, can you light it for me? Okay, oh, can you hold it to my lips? My fingers aren't working very well still. So I was like, okay, and I'm holding the cigarette to his lips. Well, his partner, Rick, just happens to walk in at that moment, and I swear to God, he had the knife ready for me. He was going to castrate me right then and there, and of course, he didn't, thank God. And he's walking out, and he slams the door, and Scott's like, well, he'll just have to get over that. So there was another time, just a few months, about a year later, I got to go on a retreat with Scott. We went to Malibu, and we got to camp under the stars. It was so fun. And that night we were out there, and I could have sworn there was a bear outside the tent. It was Scott snoring. Thank you. That was my favorite Mouseketeer. Thank you and have a good evening. And next up is Bill Bunch.